The Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff is officially under siege, and we might be staring down the barrel of one of the most chaotic offseasons in recent memory. We are talking about losing key architects of this offense to our most hated rivals, potentially bringing back old faces that we thought were gone forever, and dealing with a front office that is sending some very confusing messages about the future of our defense. If you thought the regular season was stressful, welcome to the coaching carousel, because things are about to get absolutely wild in the Queen City. What is going on, Bengals family? Welcome back to the show. We have a loaded update for you today because the rumor mill has gone from a gentle hum to a deafening roar overnight. We are tracking movement at the offensive coordinator position that could fundamentally change how Joe Burrow plays football next season. We are tracking a defensive core list released by Tobin that has a glaring and honestly concerning omission on it. And we have an offensive lineman practically begging to re-sign with the team, which is a breath of fresh air in this business-first league. But before we break down every single angle of this madness, I need to know who is riding with us today. We are building the strongest Bengals community on the internet, so do me a huge favor and smash that like button and hit subscribe right now. It is the best way to keep up with the breaking news, and it lets the algorithm know that Houday Nation is here to stay. Let's start with the news that has my stomach in knots. Dan Pitcher. The man has been an absolute soldier for this organization. He grinded his way up from quarterbacks coach to taking the reins as offensive coordinator, and let's be honest, he has done a solid job. The transition was seamless and the offense kept humming. But now that success is coming back to bite us. The buzz around the league, specifically from my sources and reports flying around the office, is that Pitcher is the leading candidate for a head coaching job. And it is not just any job. He is heavily connected to the Cleveland Browns. This is the nightmare scenario, folks. We know how the AFC North works. It is an incestuous division where coaches bounce around just to share secrets. Pitcher has a deep connection with Browns GM Andrew Berry, and with the way Cleveland's coaching search is spiraling, they are looking for stability, and they are looking for someone who knows how to fix a broken offense. Pitcher fits that mold perfectly. If he leaves, not only do we lose a great play caller, but we hand-deliver the blueprint of Joe Burrow's offense to a division rival. That is a terrifying thought. If that happens, the Bengals front office cannot sit around and mourn. They have to pivot immediately. You cannot go into a season with Joe Burrow in his prime and have a question mark at offensive coordinator. So who do we turn to if Pitcher walks out the door? This is where the story gets incredibly juicy. There are two names circulating that would break the internet. The first one is a familiar face. Brian Callahan. The rumors are swirling that after things did not work out for him down in Tennessee with the Titans, he could be looking to return to his roots. We all remember the Callahan era. He helped build this culture. He helped develop Burrow. A reunion feels almost too perfect, right? It feels like the prodigal son returning home. There is a comfort level there. Zach Taylor trusts him. The locker room respects him. And let's be real, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. Callahan coming back to Cincinnati would stabilize the ship instantly. But I have to ask you, is that what we want? Do we want to go back to the old ways, or do we want to evolve? Because if you want to evolve, there is another name on the market. Mike McDaniel. Yes, the boy genius himself. The former head coach of the Miami Dolphins is interviewing for jobs right now, and while he is hunting for another head coaching gig, there is a real possibility he might have to take a step back to reset his career. Imagine Mike McDaniel's run schemes combined with Joe Burrow's precision. We saw what McDaniel did with Tua Tagovailoa. He turned that offense into a track meet. He made them the most dangerous unit in football for a stretch. Now, obviously, things ended poorly in Miami. The losing streaks the questions about toughness. But as an offensive coordinator where he doesn't have to manage the entire roster and can just focus on drawing up plays, that is a tantalizing prospect. I know he is interviewing with everyone right now. He is talking to the Ravens. He is talking to Cleveland. But if those head coaching doors close, Cincinnati could be the perfect landing spot for him to rebuild his reputation. It is a long shot, I know. But if we lose Pitcher, we need a home run hire. We don't need a safe hire. We need someone who can keep us ahead of the curve. I want to pause here and ask you guys a serious rhetorical question. When you look at the landscape of the NFL, would you rather have a coordinator who is safe and knows the system like Callahan, or would you rather take a massive swing on a high-risk, high-reward guy like McDaniel? It is the classic debate of stability versus innovation. I honestly go back and forth on it every single day. Now let's shift gears to the defensive side of the ball, because Tobin made some comments recently that have me scratching my head. He put out a list of the core 4 players for the Bengals' defense moving forward. Basically the guys that the franchise is building around. The list was DJ Turner, Dax Hill, Myles Murphy, and Jordan Battle. On the surface, that looks like a solid list. DJ Turner has been a revelation. The kid stepped up and became a true CB1 in my eyes. He deserves all the praise he is getting. Dax Hill continues to be a Swiss Army knife. And Jordan Battle? Every time the defense played well this year, Battle was in the middle of it. He is the glue guy. And Myles Murphy is finally showing that first-round potential we waited for. So I have no issue with the guys on the list. My issue is with who is not on the list. Where is Shemar Stewart? We spent a premium first-round pick on Shemar Stewart in the 2025 draft to be the savior of this defensive line, and Tobin doesn't even name-drop him as a core piece of the future? That is a loud silence. That is a deafening omission. Is the front office already souring on him? Is he not developing the way they hoped? For a team that has struggled mightily to generate consistent pressure outside of Trey Hendrickson, we cannot afford our recent first-round defensive end to be a bust. Leaving him off that list feels like a subtle call-out. It feels like a challenge. And quite frankly, it worries me. And it's not just Stewart. The linebacking core was left off too. We have invested heavily in young athletic linebackers, and yet we still got torched by tight ends all year long. It feels like Tobin is sending a message to the locker room. Only these 4 guys are safe. The rest of you? Step it up. It is a bold strategy, but it also highlights just how much uncertainty there is on this defense. We need Shemar Stewart to be a star. We don't need him to be a role player. We drafted him to be a game wrecker. If he isn't on the core list by next season, we have a major problem on our hands. Let's interact for a second because I need your temperature on this. This is the question of the day. If Dan Pitcher leaves for Cleveland, who is your absolute number 1 choice to replace him? I want you to go down to the comments and let me know. Type BC if you want Brian Callahan back. Type MM if you want the Mike McDaniel experiment. Or give me a wildcard name if you have someone else in mind. I am going to be reading through all the replies after the video because this decision could define the rest of the Joe Burrow era. Finally, let's end on a positive note because we need some good vibes. Dalton Risner. This guy has been nothing short of a godsend for our offensive line. We brought him in, and he immediately stabilized the interior. But it's not just his play on the field that I love. It is his attitude. Dalton Risner is publicly campaigning to stay in Cincinnati. He is doing interviews saying, "I want to be a Bengal. I want to block for Joe Burrow. I want to play for Zach Taylor." Do you know how rare that is? Usually guys are chasing the biggest check and playing hard to get. Risner is telling us plainly that he loves this city and he loves this team. He mentioned wanting to play next to Amarius Mims and Ted Karras again. He loves the locker room. And from a business standpoint, this makes total sense. He was playing on a bargain deal last year, making under $2 million. He outperformed that contract by a mile. The Bengals have been searching for consistency at guard for years. We had the revolving door for so long it became a running joke. Now we have a guy who is tough, who is nasty, and who actually wants to be here. This should be the easiest decision of the offseason for Tobin. You don't overthink this. You bring him back. You pay him a fair wage, and you keep that wall in front of Joe Burrow intact. When you have a player who embraces the culture like Risner, does you keep him? It sends a message to the rest of the league that Cincinnati is a destination. It sends a message that players want to play here. I really hope they get this deal done quickly so we don't have to sweat it out in free agency. Risner deserves to be a Bengal, and the Bengals deserve a guard like Risner. So looking ahead, we have a lot of moving parts. The coaching staff could look completely different in 2 weeks. The defense is searching for its identity, and the roster is about to go through the free agency blender. But that is why we love this game, right? The drama doesn't stop when the whistle blows. We are going to be tracking the Dan Pitcher situation hour by hour. If he takes that Browns interview, we will have a video up. If Brian Callahan is spotted at the Cincinnati airport, we will have a video up. Make sure you are locked into the channel. We are not going to miss a beat. We are building something special here, and we want you to be a part of it. Let me know your thoughts on the core 4 snub. Are you worried about Shemar Stewart, or is Tobin just playing mind games? And seriously, tell me you want Risner back. I feel like that is the one thing we can all agree on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. The support has been incredible lately, and we don't take it for granted. Keep the comments coming, keep the likes coming, and let's get ready for a massive offseason. As always, stay safe, stay loyal, and who day?